Tourism KwaZulu-Natal is leading a vaccination drive as thousands of holidaymakers are arriving in the province for the festive season. The Jab for Tourism campaign comes amid the increase in COVID-19 cases driven by the Omicron variant. Newzroom Afrika's reporter Nkosikhona Duma is on the story and joins us now live. Nkosikhona, very good morning to you. We know that KwaZulu-Natal has essentially overtaken Gauteng as the country's COVID-19 epicenter. I mean, over the past week, over 40 deaths have been recorded. What is the situation there, and what are some of the objectives on this campaign?
Well, Paul, I will tell you that the tourism KZN, we've just spoken to them now, their main challenge, of course, is balancing leisure and safety. They want to keep the tourism business open. We know that it has been, severely impacted by COVID-19, and their mandate, of course, is to tell the good story about the good gem and sports in KZN that people here and from outside can visit. And unfortunately, we have experienced that KwaZulu-Natal has become the country's epicenter for COVID-19 amid the festive season, which is, of course, one of the biggest income generators. The projections for this year alone are that the province could generate as much as 1.9 billion rand, and Tourism KwaZulu-Natal wants to do this. I just want to show you some images behind me to see what is happening right now. So you are joining us from Margate. This is just on the coast of KwaZulu-Natal. This is where Tourism KwaZulu-Natal is having its particular vaccination drive. This is, of course, one of the tourism gems of the province. And I'm now going to bring in Mrs. Pinky Hatiebe, who's, of course, head of communications for Tourism KwaZulu-Natal. It's a difficult one, right, Pinky, managing leisure and travel. How exactly are you hoping to achieve with this campaign?
Good morning, Nkosikhona. Exactly in your introduction, you are mentioning that it's going to be a very difficult balance. So definitely, as Tourism KwaZulu-Natal, we are working very hard in our, pushing our marketing aggressively throughout the year. And for this particular season, we just needed to make sure that we keep to safety protocols. We are embarking on a very aggressive campaign together with the Department of Health to make sure that we tell our visitors, our holidaymakers, to travel safe, to take their vaccinations, and to zwakala to KZN and take their jabs as they visit the province.
We know that many people are coming to KwaZulu-Natal. I mean, we have our famous city, eThekwini, Durban, but today we don't find ourselves there. We're finding ourselves right on the south coast, Margate. Which other sports have you been to? Because we know that, KwaZulu-Natal is not just Durban tourism, it's entire KwaZulu-Natal tourism. So where is this campaign landed already? And where do you plan to go going forward?
Absolutely, Nkosikhona. So as you know, we have something that's called geographic spread. We have, 600 kilometers of coast belt, one of them being Durban is our coastal region. Margate, which is in Potchefstroom, is also a very famous and popular beach destination. So for this campaign, which is Vaccinate for Tourism, we started our campaign in St. Lucia, another beautiful part of the province. We then ended up in Richards Bay. You see that for this particular campaign, we were targeting the coastal regions. So we started in St. Lucia. We went off to Marensia on Saturday. Last Saturday, we were in Marensia, pushing the message that let's travel safe. Let us vaccinate and make sure that we explore our destination. So from today, as yesterday we were in Goxton, actually one of our inland regions, which is a border from KwaZulu-Natal and Eastern Cape. We're again advocating for the message, saying that holidaymakers must come to the province, they must be vaccinated, and they must explore our province. So from today, we are in Margate. From Margate, we'll then go into the inland destinations, which is Newcastle, on the 28th of December. On the 29th, we're in Ladysmith. And then on the 30th, we'll be in Pietermaritzburg. Because the message is clear. We are saying to our holidaymakers, KZN is safe for travel, vaccinate, and then explore the destination.
I was just reading the statistics and some of the figures by Tourism KZN before this interview. You expect, according to that documentation, about 60% of accommodation venues should be at least occupied, so you're expecting at least 60% occupancy rates. 1.9 billion rand in GDP contribution is the amount you are targeting. But talk to us about the support you are giving to tourism businesses in the sector, particularly SMMEs.
Absolutely, Nkosikhona. As you say, our occupancy rates are sitting at 60%, and we are projecting a steady incline, because you find that in the first week of the festive season, numbers do go up. So in the next 2 weeks, we are expecting numbers to actually surpass the 60% mark. So when it comes to the tourism value chain, it is very important to support B&Bs, to support guest houses, and we are seeing a new trend of traveling, people wanting to take a different establishment like self-catering. So a lot of families and groups are moving towards self-catering, and those establishments are owned by SMMEs. And so the tourism sector is very, very important to us, and it also gives a lot of revenue to SMME-owned establishments.
Just a final question. So, I want to bring in back this topic of Omicron. The trends, it seems as if they've definitely, impacted international travel. But have you seen a decline as a result of Omicron in the domestic market?
Definitely, Nkosikhona. In the last year and this year, you can never ever say our numbers are the same. So there definitely was a decline. In that decline, KZN still remains the most visited destination in South Africa. According to South African Tourism, we are the #1 domestic tourism destination. So people are still coming to KwaZulu-Natal. Obviously, that is why we are advocating for safety. We are saying travel safe, take your jab, take your vaccination, and explore. So the numbers will never be the same, Nkosikhona, as I said. People travel differently now, and so from the domestic front, they are very cautious, but they are traveling.
Well, thank you so much, Pinky. We'll catch up with you later. Well, Mpho, that was Pinky Hatebe. She's, of course, the communication manager for tourism KwaZulu-Natal. She was just detailing to us, Newzroom Afrika, about the challenges that they're facing. Of course, she's saying the COVID-19 has definitely had an impact on, on tourism. But what they're trying to do right now is that they're trying to promote vaccinations, of course, in a bid to make sure that the tourism sector is not completely closed, because their mandate, of course, is to ensure that, the tourism sector remains a viable sector for investment and for job creation. And they've got a mandate of raising at least 1.9 billion rand for this festive season. So this is part of their campaign to ensure that, they at least achieve some of their goals. But she stated that, despite the COVID-19, and the Omicron variant, at least, there is a 60% occupancy rate in tourism venues, accommodation venues in KwaZulu-Natal, and they're hoping, of course, to increase on that.
Nkosikhona, as the marquee is up and people are walking around the beach, what have you found to be some of the reasons why some are not coming closer to ensure that they get vaccinated?
Well, Paul, the campaign, of course, as we're talking to some people here, is that the campaign for tourism, for vaccinations has been quite strong. I mean, many people now have had their vaccinations, and I mean, some of us had it very, very early. And right now, the main challenge, I guess, for all entities and institutions that are promoting vaccination is to deal with vaccine hesitancy. And so, they're trying out different strategies, but we have seen some people actually going in, of course, to this particular bus here where they are taking their jabs. But talking to healthcare workers, in fact, some of them are behind me. I just want to point to you out here in the beach. So part of their strategies as well right now is to try and make sure that they get to where people are possibly going to be gathering during this festive season. But the challenge right now is, of course, convincing those who might have feelings of saying that the vaccine will not keep them safe, that it's going to be used for sinister moves. And so that is, of course, the biggest challenge right now.
Very well, let's leave it there for now. Nkosikhona Duma giving us an update on the reception and the reasons why that drive is out in full force in KwaZulu-Natal, as, of course, many of the holiday makers have arrived in that province.